Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our MESAT Bulletin, and we shall start with our headlines. Rescuers find flight recorder from Black Sea plane crash. 29 Turkish police officers in court for coup trial. And moving on to our details, starting with Russian crash jet. Rescue workers on Tuesday found a flight recorder from the Russian planes that crashed into the Black Sea over the weekend. Russian Defense Ministry said that one of the flight recorders was found early Tuesday morning about a mile away from the shore, adding that the black box would be immediately flown to Moscow. The ministry also said divers found fragments of the fuselage, parts of the engine, and various mechanical parts overnight. From another aspect, mourners on Tuesday continued to bring flowers to the pier of Sochi's seaport as dozens of ships and divers swept the crash site for bodies of the victims and debris. Onto the Syrian profile, US-backed Kurdish-led force in northern Syria approaches the strategic dam controlled by the Islamic State group north of the country. The spokesman of the Syria Democratic Forces said on Tuesday that gunmen backed by US, French and British special forces have taken dozens of villages and farms in recent days and are about 5 kilometers from the Euphrates Dam. From another aspect, members of SDF have been on the offensive in Raqqa province since early November. The operation, which is backed by intense airstrikes by the US-led coalition, aims to initially isolate and encircle IS de facto capital of Raqqa. On to Turkish failed coup, 29 Turkish former police officers went on trial on Tuesday accused of aiding the failed military coup in July. The police officers are standing trial in a prison and courthouse complex in the outskirts of Istanbul include 3 police helicopter pilots. They are accused of aiding the coup by not carrying out their duties, including disobeying orders to protect Erdogan's Istanbul residence on the night of the coup, according to the state-run Anadolu news agency. The agency also said prosecutors have demanded aggravated life prison terms for 21 officers charged with attempted coup, while 8 others face maximum 15 years in prison for membership in a terrorist organization. On the other side of the world, President-elect Donald Trump is questioning its effectiveness of the United Nations, saying it's just a club for people to have a good time, after the UN Security Council voted last week to condemn Israeli settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Trump wrote on Monday on social media that the UN has such great potential, but it has become just a club for people to get together, talk, and have a good time. So sad. It's worth mentioning that on Friday, Trump warned as to the UN, things will be different after January 20th, referring to the day he takes office. On another side, the Philippine Coast Guard pressed its search on Tuesday for 18 missing Filipino crewmen from a cargo ship that sank at the height of Typhoon Noktan, which struck the country on Christmas Day. Coast Guard spokesman said 14 other crewmen have been rescued and 1 died after the MV Starlight Atlantic sank off Mabini town in Batangas province, where the powerful typhoon passed on Monday on its way out of the country into the South China Sea. From another aspect, at least 7 people died from the typhoon, including the sunken ship's crewmen and villagers in Albay and Quezon provinces. Moving on to our economic news, shares are mostly higher in Europe and Asia as the last week of trading for the year began on Tuesday after Christmas holidays. Germany's DAX gained 0.2% to 11,473.42, and the CAC 40 of France was also up 0.2% at 4,847.39. Wall Street looked set for a downbeat open, with Dow futures down 0.04% and S&P 500 futures also off 0.04%. Tokyo's Nikkei 225 was nearly flat at 19,403.06, while Shanghai Composite Index slipped 0.3% to 3,114.66. And going to sports news, American Michaela Schifrin and the Italian Manuela Mailag went 1-2 in the opening run of the Women's World Cup giant slalom on Tuesday. Overall World Cup leader Schifrin timed 59.91 seconds on the icy Panorama course to lead Mailag by 0.27, while another Italian, Marta Bassino, 0.49 back in third. Starting 15th after other favorites had completed their runs, Schifrin already led by 0.60 at the first split time. The American avoided mistakes, though she lost a few tenths of her advantage. While defending overall champion Lara Gut of Switzerland, who trails Schifrin by 5 points in overall standings, had 1.36 to make up in this second run. And finally, weather news. The fury of the winter storm that swept into the northern Great Plains on Christmas Day weekend heading into Tuesday, but thousands remained without power in the Dakotas and Michigan. High winds and drifting snow continued to make travel hazardous in the Dakotas, even as vast stretches of highways that had been closed reopened to traffic. The storm has caused extensive power outages in the Dakotas, Nebraska, and Michigan. The South Dakota Rural Electric Association said roughly 13,700 of its customers were without power as of 1 a.m. Tuesday. Moreover, high winds knocked out power to thousands of customers in Michigan on Monday. And before ending our news, let's take another look at the most important headlines for today. Rescuers find flight recorder from Black Sea plane crash. 29 Turkish police officers in court for coup trial. And this was the end of our Misaad Bulletin for today. Thank you for joining us and see you tomorrow in a new bulletin.